What's going on, BLVers and NFL betters? It's Mitch here, live, experimenting with something a little bit different. I don't think anyone on YouTube that covers the NFL picks every single NFL game over or under, picking the total for each game every week. And that's what I'm going to give an opportunity, a chance to see how I can do picking every total over or under for week number 1 of the 2023 NFL season. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe for more NFL betting and NFL previews of every game just like this. Also, play along in the chat. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know which games you think will go over, which games you think will go under. Let's get started. We had an awesome Thursday night football game. Hoping that continues for week 1 on Sunday. So let's start off with the San Francisco 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This total is 41. The spread is currently San Francisco -2. These spreads are updated as of this morning, Friday, September the 8th. Okay? The total is low. It's 41. This should be a defensive game. This is a premier defense in the San Francisco 49ers. A defense that was probably the best by most metrics last season. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers defense that last year with TJ Watt was dominant. Top 10 run defense, top 10 pass defense. TJ Watt had the Steelers when he was in the lineup at 8-2 for the season. And as the number 1 run defense in the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers, of course, love to run the football. Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell. You're going to see a mix of both in this game with Kyle Shanahan drawing things up. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers can do a good job of slowing down the 49ers run game. What I think is going to give them issues is McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel in the passing game. Potentially George Kittle if he's playing as well. But the mismatches one-on-one. So how will the Steelers try to take those things away in the middle of the field? That will be interesting to watch. On the other side, the Niners have a great defense. The Steelers might have a good offense this year, but it's really hard to know. It's the first week of the season. They have new pieces on the offensive line. Is Kenny Pickett really that much better than his rookie season? George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, they certainly have some weapons to attack the Niners, but the best way I think they're going to be able to attack is down the field, down the sidelines, throwing the football vertically. The Niners don't really allow you to do much horizontally, and they don't allow you to do much in the run game. How much will Nick Bosa play? That's another question to ask. But I think if I were to bet this either way, I have to go with the under. I think both teams, it's hard for me to imagine both teams getting into the 20s. I think one team probably gets to the 20s, and that's good enough to win. One team probably is in the teens. So I'm going to go under the 41 for the 49ers and the Steelers. The next game is a very low total. Washington is favored by 7 over the Cardinals at home. The total is low for a reason. Josh Dobbs is the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And Sam Howell is the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. A Sam Howell that we don't know much about. Now, I liked what I've seen from Sam Howell. Last year, in the preseason this year, I've liked what I've seen. And everything reported seems good and positive. But you have to have both teams scoring. I just can't imagine the Cardinals putting up a ton of points on a top 10 defense from last year in the Washington Commanders. A Commanders team with a great defensive line that can pressure the quarterback, that can get sacks, that can cause turnovers. But 38 is such a low number. It's hard for me to also pick the under. So this is one that I would definitely stay away from, in my opinion, because of the randomness of this game. I'm going to go with the over. I don't really know why. I'm just going to go with the over here. Over 38. It just feels like a low number for me for week 1 with no real weather conditions. I like Washington's defense, but I don't know. I just feel like for some reason this is going to go over. The next game, we've got the Carolina Panthers in the Atlanta Falcons. The total is 39.5. Atlanta is currently favored by 3.5. I think I'm going to go with the under here. Atlanta is a run-first team. That means that the clock's obviously going to be chewing. It's going to be running. Carolina's offense has looked at times bad, if not incompetent. Their offensive line is pretty lousy right now. Austin Corbett not playing in this game. DJ Chark not playing in this game. Adam Thielen banged up. Bryce Young, rookie quarterback in his first ever start. I just don't know how Carolina is going to move the ball really versus any defense right now. And then on the other side, Atlanta is going to try to use the clock, and they're going to try to run the ball, and they're going to limit Desmond Ridder's impact on this game. So I have it being a shortened game, which leads to an under 39.5. The next game is a 47.5 total. Cleveland, Cincinnati -2. This is probably one of my favorite unders on the board. I feel pretty good about the under in this game just because I think the Browns defense is underrated. I think their pass rush is really good. Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith. They added Dalvin Tomlinson. They added Okoronkwo. They added Juan Thornhill at the safety spot. Jim Schwartz is now the coordinator calling things. And Joe Burrow was also injured during the offseason. So how much time has he really had to click with this offense and get ready for this season? Cincinnati is a good defensive team. They have a great defensive coordinator that I think at times can stifle Deshaun Watson and co. I like Nick Chubb in the offensive line, but I don't think the run game is going to be dominant because Cincinnati with DJ Reader is a good run D. So I'm going to go under 47.5. If I had to bet one total so far, it would probably be this game. The next game is the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. 43.5 is the total. Some interesting things from an injury standpoint in this game. Marlon Humphrey, I believe, is banged up, and I don't think he's playing for the Ravens at corner. And then on the offensive line, the Texans are dealing with multiple injuries. So how does that balance itself out? That would definitely lead me to believe that the Ravens are more susceptible to be taken advantage of in the passing game. But I also believe that the Texans are going to struggle to block the Ravens. This is a rookie quarterback in his first ever game on the road in Baltimore. Not a lot of weapons in Houston. This feels again like an under. I'm taking a lot of unders here, but I think usually defense is more dominant early on in a season. I think this feels like another under. I think the only way this goes over is if the Ravens really blow out the Texans, which is possible. Like, they could win like 31-14, 38-10. If that happens, I'm wrong. But if this game is like a 27-13, 27-14, 28-13 type of game, I should be okay. So as long as the Texans defense can hold up a little bit, the Ravens, of course, are dealing with a new system offensively. So there's also argument there that they might take some time to get up to steam and up to speed. So I'm going to go with the under there as well. The next game is Jacksonville and Indy, 46.5. This game could be an over. This isn't a low number, though. This is 46.5, which is a fairly, balanced number, I would say. Jacksonville, though, I think is going to have a lot of success on offense. We've seen what Trevor Lawrence has done against Gus Bradley in terms of completion rate. He's completed a lot of passes. at a high rate, 90%, 83% in his games last year, which is extremely impressive, out of this world. Can he create big plays through Calvin Ridley? Not a great secondary for the Colts. Pretty good D-line, though, that might cause some pressure on Lawrence. If there is, an argument for the under, it might be that. The Colts do have a good front seven. And then you have to deal with Anthony Richardson. Is Anthony Richardson going to be able to score enough points here for this to go over? That's kind of the question. I don't know about that. I question his ability to throw the ball. I question his ability to stay consistent through the air. I question the Colts' ability to run the ball with their running backs, given that Jonathan Taylor isn't playing. This, again, I might have to go under. But, man, I don't really want to with Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley in week 1. It is on the road, though. So, hey, I just don't trust Anthony Richardson. I'm going to go under. But we're going to get to some overs. Don't worry. Next game is 45.5. I'm going over here. Okay, this is an over for me. I'm going over Tampa Bay and Minnesota, 45.5. It's in a dome. It's in Minnesota. Bad defense for the Vikings, in my opinion, from a skill and talent standpoint. Good receivers for both teams. You got Addison, you got Jefferson, you got Osborne, Hawkinson. On the other side, you have Godwin, Evans, Rachaad White. So I feel like the Bucs, even with Mayfield, should be able to move the ball in this game, especially early on. They're trying to learn a new system in Minnesota defensively. I think Cousins, Jefferson will have success offensively. They always seemingly do at home. I think this is an over in this game. Next, you got a total of 42 between the Titans and the Saints. I'm going to go with the under. I think these two teams are defensive teams. I think, again, it's a slugfest here. Derek Carr, I think, will struggle with the Titans' pressure. They've got a good front seven, very well coached. I think the Titans are the number 1 team entering the season against the run. That's what they were last year. So I don't expect much balance from the Saints. On the other side, I worry about the Titans' offensive line on the road, playing a pretty good defense from a year ago in New Orleans. So I'm going to go with the under 42. Next game, we've got a 42 total for the Packers and the Bears. For whatever reason, I think this is going to be an over. I don't exactly know why, other than maybe I think both teams are going to be able to run the ball. I think Justin Fields is going to be able to run the ball. I think that Khalil Herbert's going to be able to run the ball. I think Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon are going to be able to run the ball. And I think a couple big plays come through the passing game for the Packers. So I'm going to go over 42 in this game. Now we've got 44 in Denver, Raiders, Broncos. Broncos have a pretty good defense. I don't love the Raiders defensively. Both teams have good offensive coaches. Russell Wilson will probably be inconsistent in this game, but I think he'll make big plays, like splash plays in the game. So I'm leaning towards the over for the Raiders and the Broncos. Over 44. I think McDaniels, the Raiders, they can run the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers. Plenty of weapons to throw the ball to. I don't trust the Denver pass catchers, but I think they have enough to beat and score on a pretty bad Raiders defense still, in my opinion. I see it being close to the total, though. I think it's going to be like 27, 24, 24, 21, something like that. So I'm going to go with over in that game. Next game is 46.5. Seattle favored by 5 at home. I'm leaning towards the under here in this game just because I don't think the Rams are going to go to Seattle even without Witherspoon and Jamal Adams and score a ton of points. Like without Cooper Kupp, a bad offensive line, a weak receiving core, no weapons to speak of in Seattle. And then you have, Seattle's offense is pretty talented, but the Rams have played the Seahawks well in terms of last year. I thought they played Geno fairly well last year. So I'm going to go with the under 46.5 in that game. I don't see the Rams having consistent offense in that one. The next game, the Miami Dolphins, the LA Chargers, the total is 51. This just seems too high for my liking. I mean, this is a high number. I think I've got to go with the under. Teron Armstead is out in this game for the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Ramsey is also out, though. Both teams are known for their offense, but I think the Chargers' defense is a little underrated because they're fully healthy. They did a great job against Miami last year in their game on Sunday Night Football. That enabled them to win that game. And then Miami's defense, especially their front, is really talented. So I'm going to go with the under 51 there. Then we have the total of 45, Eagles and Patriots. In order for the Patriots to win, I don't think they're going to win a shootout. And as a Patriots fan, I think they're going to keep this close. And if you're one of those many people out there that are backing New England, I think you are thinking New England's defense is going to come to play here. At home, Tom Brady day. I think Belichick, all offseason to prepare for Jalen Hurts and company. I think this goes under. I think it's 20s for both teams. Low 20s for both teams. So I'm going to go under 45, Eagles, Patriots. But I wouldn't be surprised if this goes over. But I'm not going to bet this. I'm just saying, if New England is going to be competitive and close in this game, it's most likely to be an under. If New England gets blown out, it's also likely to be an under. So I don't see the Eagles getting blown out here. I think the under is the play, but if Mac Jones and Billy O's offense comes to play, I wouldn't be surprised either. Maybe it will be an over. I don't really know. Next, we've got the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football. The total is 45.5. Tough. I like the Cowboys defense in this game. I think they're going to be able to pressure the Giants pretty good. I also like Wink Martindale being able to blitz and pressure Dak. So I think I'm going under again. 45.5. But again, another one that I think is kind of like the New England game. I could see both teams having some success on offense. Brian Daboll's tricky. Daniel Jones's legs could get involved here. Brandon Cooks added to the mix. Tricky one, but I'm going to go with the under with the familiarity of both teams. And then the 45.5 for Bills and the Jets. This game's in New York. I like the Jets defense. This one's tough too, man. This one's really tough. The Jets defense is good at home. Crowd rowdy. Bills got a great offense though. And they have a defense that doesn't have Von Miller. Man, I still think it's going to go under, though. I think it's going to be like a 24-17 type of game. So I'm going to go under. I don't know how many unders I had compared to overs. Maybe that's too many, but let me count how many overs I had in this one. I don't even know if I remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I only had 4, man. That's a little scary, but that's what I'm going to go with, guys. I'll tally it up after the week is done. We'll see how I do. I've never done this before. I've never experimented with picking every single total, Usually if I bet one, it's just a couple. But we'll see how it goes. Let me know your favorite total for this week, your favorite over-under bet in the comment section below. If I were to give a couple out, I would say I like the Bucs and the Vikings over if you want to bet an over. And I think I like the Bengals and the Browns to go under for an under to bet this week. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Harley Quinn, thank you for the happy birthday, by the way. Bootsy in the chat, what's going on? He says Cleveland, Miami, Raiders, Giants, Philly, Saints, Seattle, Washington, at San Francisco, Baltimore, Minnesota. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Lance says Jets defense is good. Yup, absolutely. CJ Mosley. Greg says, are you streaming the Eagles and the Patriots? I will be. I'll also be streaming the Steelers and the 49ers. That's the game that I'll be streaming in the early window. Hurts actually has a veteran offense to work with, unlike Mahomes does. This is revenge season for Hurts. I think Hurts will be great this year. Hurts will be locked and loaded. I think it will be a blowout and embarrassment for the Pats. I don't think that. I think you're underrating the Patriots a little bit. Lafayette says Raiders. He also says, favorite analyst on YouTube got the Steelers winning on the money line. Purdy is not accurate on the outside. I think Pickett will tear apart their defense. I don't know about tear apart the best defense in the NFL. I think it will be a defensive game, but I don't hate the Steelers bet. Michael says, keep up the good work, Mitch. I watch your videos every week. Thank you, Michael. What's up, Caesar? All right, guys, that's it for this one. Appreciate everybody joining. Gronk spike the like button. If you enjoyed this video, I will do it weekly if it gets a good amount of likes and a good amount of views, and everyone's telling me that they like it. If not, I'll move on and do something else, but appreciate everybody joining. It's Mitch. Peace.